Someone comes to rescue her.
Welcome to Yes, I Am the Veteran, hosted by Brandy Pet.
Welcome, everybody. It's me, Brandy P, with the Yes, I Am the Veteran podcast, and I am joined by my lovely co-host, the always amazing Miss Amelia Peacock from the Sentinel Collective and Pacifica. How are you ladies doing?
Fantastic. It's been a long week. How about you?
Slowly defrosting. But I hope everybody's doing all right. I know it's been a wild week of weather all over, so I hope everyone's doing all right. And we had an amazing class in spite of the weather this last weekend. I still can't believe we were able to pull it off. We did have a knife making class once again, and it was great. We had a class of 5. And what was amazing about it was that everyone made something totally different, and I'll show everything up here. But what did you think about it, Amelia?
Oh, it was a lot of fun. It was actually a beautiful day to be in the forge because it was nice outside. And so when I got hot, all I had to do was just open up my jacket a little bit and it was perfect.
I'm just going to show like May holding the knife in because it's awesome. So it has nothing to do with the class. But it was forged in the same forge, Stonehaven Knife Works. And we definitely want to thank our instructors, Toba Nieto and Tom Taylor from Forged in Fire, teaching the class for our veterans. Mm-hmm. And they actually have enjoyed the class so much that, I think I know her. But they liked it so much that we are considering doing a 2-day knife making class in the future. So if you're interested, if you think a 2-day class, because a 1-day class, you really don't get to finish your handles all the way. Hi, Addie. And so a 2-day class, you would be able to have a more comprehensive class altogether. But it was an amazing day of fellowship. We had a Gold Star veteran and mom that attended the class, and we are very thankful to both Veteran Radio Syndicate as well as Black Dagger Military Hunt Club for being so generous and taking care of the knife making expenses, which can be quite costly, as well as the food and drink. So we took care of our veterans breakfast and lunch, and we have done that for every single one of our classes. And definitely that will be something we will continue. And if you want to take a look at the knives that the ladies did build, check out our podcast pages and you will see them posted there. It was pretty interesting what the beginning of the day, the knives or the steel looked like, a little bar of steel, maybe about this big. And at the end of the day, everyone left with an amazing paracord wrapped blade, which I thought was pretty awesome. Hey, Sarit. So we will go ahead and introduce our guest for the night. Miss Amelia, you take it away.
Oh, y'all, I'm so very excited. It is my honor and I'm so excited to introduce to you one of my sisters. And when I say sisters, yes, Marine Corps sisters. I've had the pleasure of knowing her and seeing her grow throughout her life. And it's been an absolutely amazing journey. And I'm excited to bring her on tonight because I know her story, but I want y'all to know her story, how she got started, how she came to where she's at now. And I'm looking forward to having her on. So let's introduce Miss Jessica Van Der Valk of Bunny Bird Bakehouse.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome,
Hi,
sis. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say thank you in advance for those cookies that we had over Christmas. Just throwing that out there. They were delicious.
Yeah,
well, I'm still waiting for mine, so there's that.
Pacific's like, Like,
Well,
you can't wear Class Pacifica. We got you.
Okay.
is there a story as to why Pacifica didn't get her Grinch cookies?
Oh, I don't know. But you know what? If I owe you Grinch cookies, then I owe you Grinch cookies.
Oh, not you, Jessica.
You know
Okay,
what
I'm
would be
like-
awesome would be a Grinch cake that's red velvet. That way when you cut the green Grinch cake, it's red velvet inside.
Oh, that's interesting. That's a good take on that.
Wouldn't that be
I might
great?
have to try to see if I can put that together.
All right, here we go.
The only thing
Maybe,
I
maybe
can
you
do
can
are
name it after me.
inappropriate.
Like,
I can make German chocolate lady cakes. That's all I can do. I don't do normal cakes.
The sour.
that's a good one. Oh, let's write that down.
It's gonna be called the sour.
The sour. You're gonna have lime in yours, Pacifica. Just saying.
Well, I'm afraid of what mine might have in it. So,
That's amazing.
It'd be
No,
that beautiful
you're
red
amazing.
velvet cake, nice and gushy.
Yeah, Jessica's cakes or her cookies were so good. Like I watched ladies literally fight over them at the holiday party, and we found out later that because like the cookies had been there and they were individually wrapped and they're very cute, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'll get it later and I'll grab them later." Well, all of a sudden there were like no Grinch cookies, and they were two grown-ass women literally almost fist fighting over it.
Oh wow.
And it was just like, what happened? Like, where'd they go? And I had my daughter with me, and she's 10. Yeah, I'm totally telling her on her right now. She's gonna be so mad at me. It's fine. But she literally had them all in her backpack, and I was like, where are you getting all these Grinch cookies? Like after like the next day, and I was like, I know, like you only took like one home because I grabbed just the one, and I grabbed like a nice salted caramel that was delicious, and she's like, oh, I grabbed them all. I'm like, you know that those ladies wanted those cookies, girl. You better learn to share.
Well, I'm glad that she enjoyed them. That's awesome. That's a great story.
It's pretty
Oh,
funny to watch.
it was hilarious. And so, Jessica, I would love to give you the opportunity. I've introduced you a little bit, but please, introduce yourself. Tell us about you. I may have already branch you served in, however. Tell us all
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, so like Amelia said, her and I served in the Marine Corps together. We actually went to boot camp together. So we've known each other for a long time, about 22 years now, something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, after the Marine Corps, I served 5 years in the Marine Corps, and then I got out, and I spent a lot of time working in the corporate offices. Went back to school, got my bachelor's degree, got my master's degree. And I honestly thought that was it. I worked so hard for all those things, and I was going to continue focusing on, the corporate environment. And I have a degree in risk management. And I thought, well, that's really what my, passion is in, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And then about a year and a half ago, I decided to quit working. A lot of it was really based on the fact that I had an autoimmune that I didn't really realize that I had, but it was just really preventing me from working. I was in a lot of pain. And then, so about 4 or 5 months ago, I decided, you know what, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm not always at 100%, but, I think I need to do something. I can't just sit here and not do anything. The Marine in me feels like I got to get going. I got to do something, but I don't know that I can go to work full time. But I also wanted to do something that I felt was like fun for me, and something that I felt that I could also utilize my degrees in. So I decided to create Bunny Bird Bakehouse, which is a cottage micro bakery out of my home. So not storefront, but it's online, pre-order based. And I decided that, that was just something fun for me to help me, one, just interact with other people and be creative and do things that I felt passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
But I also just felt like it gave me the opportunity to focus on business, things that I had already learned in my corporate environment, things that I learned in the Marine Corps that I could bring into my business. So that really just like, it fulfilled something in me that made me feel like, okay, now I don't feel like I'm just sitting around doing nothing all day. I'm doing something that's useful for me, but also something that I hope brings joy to other people.
I love that. And a sense of purpose is so very important after the post-military. And I think a lot of us, like, depression can really set in pretty hard if you don't feel you have that sense of purpose. And some of us, we really want to see what we can do or create. And some people, they just really miss that sense of purpose. And I think a lot of us kind of end up doing different things we would never have imagined in the military just because of that, in search of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Before I was being diagnosed with my autoimmune, there was a moment in time where I did feel like, you know what, I don't know what I'm doing. And then when you're in that physical chronic pain, then you're always in your mind, right? You're always thinking about all those things, and you're thinking about what you used to be, and then what you are now, and what you haven't been able to achieve, or, you want to be more physically able than what you are. Because, 22 years ago, I was at, peak health and doing things that I didn't know I could do. And then now, 22 years later, it's like, it hurts to get up. That hurts to just, move around, and, you're just in that pain, and it gets into your mind. And yeah, I think it's important for people to find that purpose, because when you sit around and you feel like you're wasting your time, or you're not doing things with purpose, it can really get to you.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. And you're right. I know I had a triple limb salvage, and for me, like, I get frustrated because of the fact I can't do, even normal things, not even like crazy super safe host stuff that I was doing, like sometimes on ambulance services. And I had to do a multi-purpose functional capacity exam to compare my right side versus the left. And there was like a 200% difference. And I was very surprised. Like, that's not even possible. But I remember like physically crying when they were trying to make me do things that I would have done in the military. And just that feeling of, I just can't do it. Yeah. It was a lot to get over. And I definitely understand fighting your own body on the daily. And it's definitely something that you have to get creative with, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And absolutely. So you own the Bunny Bird Bakehouse. Can you tell us the story behind the name of your business?
Yeah, actually, so the way I came up with that was, actually my husband helped me come up with it, because there were so many things that I threw out there, and I really wanted to find something that I felt was like personal to me. And there were so many Marine Corps type names that I threw out there that I was like, oh, what about Simplify this or Simplify that? There's so many things. And I just couldn't settle on anything that I felt like, oh, that felt good to me as a name. And my husband came up with Bunny Bird. So my kids, I have two boys, and one, my oldest, we call Nerdy Bird. And then my youngest, we call Gunny Bunny. And so I decided to just merge those together and come up with Bunny Bird. So it's named after both my kids.
Oh, I love that. My daughter would never talk to me again if I named a business Nugget or anything. But I think that's amazing, and it's an awesome name. It's very unique.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So here's some random trivia for you. All right. In the Fortune 500 companies, what branch of service do you think most of the leadership has served in the Fortune 500?
Oh, okay. I'm going to say probably Army, just because there's more.
No, actually, a lot of the leadership have been Marines.
I was going to say Marines, and Marines do the crazy stuff. Like, yeah,
I would say that. But I just know there's a lot of Army veterans, so I would have assumed it was Army.
Well, there are more of them, but I think there's something special about leadership in the Marines that kind of gives you all a business edge on the way out. So I'm just curious, is there something that you took from the Corps to your bakery? Because obviously you weren't a cook, you weren't a mess anything in the Marines, so you're not like baking for hundreds of people. This is micro. And don't say discipline, because everyone says that.
Gotcha. No, I would say the one thing that I got from the Marine Corps that I really implement every day, but this is just kind of every day in my life, is cleanliness. So I know that's important for a bakery, right? So just being very clean, being very thorough with things, and then just also like time management and just being very detailed. So I know that for me, as I'm, kind of going through things for my business, and I'm trying to figure out inventory and things like that, it's important to be detailed, because if not, I'm losing money. So I try to really focus on all those little tiny details of like, okay, what does my inventory look like? What might a customer enjoy, or what they may not like, or what's the feedback that I've gotten, how can I implement those things? What are the things that people are requesting from me? Do I have the time management? Am I able to implement those things, in time? So like over Christmas, I was really, really busy over Christmas, that to the point that I had to stop my online sales and say, okay, guys, I can't take any more. I had so many orders coming in, which was fantastic. And I wanted to make sure that I could, provide a good service to everybody. But it took up a lot of my time. So just being able to manage that, and having able to like write things down and be like, okay, I have this many orders, and these are the amount of orders that I can take, and these are the amount of batches that I have to make in order to fill all these orders in time. So I was kind of running against the clock, and thankfully, I was able to get all of those done in time, which was fantastic. But I really attribute that to the Marine Corps, because it kind of discipline. It built that discipline, to get in there and to be like, manage your time, be clean, persevere through this, even if you're frustrated because you just screwed up this batch, just continue on. So I think that's probably what I got the most.
Your takes how hydrated you are, stuff like that. I get it. No. But no, I think that's amazing, sis. And I can definitely see how that would translate. I was Air Force, I wasn't a Marine, and I actually pledged a business fraternity to try to learn how civilians do business, and that didn't end well. I learned stuff. I can write a resume, however.
Well, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Brandy, because Pacifica, I was wondering if it was going to be a trick question because you're Navy. So I was wondering if the answer was going to be Navy, because I know you. So I was kind of like wondering if you were setting us up for that.
No, nothing like that. I do know that in the Navy, we loved results, not excuses. And that's just another way of saying have some damn discipline to finish what you start. But results, not excuses, get it done and do it right. That's all,
Absolutely.
But I do wonder, like as a woman I'm sorry, I'm throwing a question in there and it's not on the list, but like as a woman veteran, like we can come off as kind of bitchy and mean, very direct sometimes. And I know client facing businesses, and since you're so small, you probably do a lot of the client working with clients and
yeah. So I understand where you're going with that question. I would say that's not something I got from the Marine Corps, but something I got in my corporate life, is being able to deal with people and having that customer service. Because you're right, in the Marine Corps, it's tough, right? You have to be able to compete with your male counterparts, and you can't show any weaknesses. And I mean, you're looked at differently if you show that. Every female has to be better than their male counterparts. So yeah, coming into the corporate world, I know that I was kind of rough around the edges, and a lot of times, my mouth would get me in trouble, and things would be like, okay, you need to calm down, and you're being too aggressive, or you got that resting face. So
use the knife hand, those kind of
the knife hand.
Why are you yelling at me?
That still comes out every once in a while.
Yeah.
But having spent that time in the corporate world, I think that's really kind of helped develop me, because I learned a lot. I managed a lot of teams, and that helped me kind of interact with people a little bit better. And I learned a lot, because there was things that I realized, like, okay, I made a mistake there. I shouldn't have treated somebody that way, or shouldn't have, interacted that way. I should have done this instead. And there was a lot of leadership courses that I took, and even going through like my business courses and when I went through my master's, it was things that it taught me of how to interact with people. And so, I think that I try to smile a little more, not sit with the resting, face.
RBF, RBF.
RBF, okay. RBF, so I definitely understand that. Yeah, it is hard, being, I think it's hard for any service, but especially for a female Marine coming into a service industry like that.
Absolutely.
And so with that in mind, and the fact that we're all women veterans, so I'm curious, why do you feel like it's important for us as women veterans to recognize our service?
Yeah, this is a really good question. So, I mean, I think, just like any male veteran, we've all done something that the majority of the world isn't doing or has never done or will never do, right? We decided to serve our country. And I think that's recognizable in itself. And I think that the way that men are being recognized for it, we should as well. There's plenty of times that women have served in combat zones. They've been pilots. They've done a lot for our country, and I think those things should be recognized. I don't think that we get as much recognition as we probably should. I kind of look at our male veterans to help with that, because when we talk about women veterans, sometimes the civilian world, they have a perception of us, and sometimes it's those words are coming from other male veterans who are putting female veterans down, and when they hear those words, it's like, well, you didn't do enough, or you're not good enough to be at my level. And there are some women who have done more than some men in the military, so I think either way, just the fact that you've served, you deserve that recognition. You deserve to be there, because everybody has something to provide, whether you deployed or you didn't deploy. You're playing your role, and you are there ready to do what's needed. It kind of reminds me of a experience I had when I was in the Marine Corps. So when I was in the Marine Corps, I did deployment to the Horn of Africa at Camp Lemonnier. And during that time that I was there, so it was part of a joint task force. So it was Air Force, Army, Marines. I don't think we had any Navy. But we were there, and I think there was about 8 females aboard the camp. And we would allow the locals to come on to the camp to do various things, to do various types of work and stuff. But in order for them to come to the camp, they obviously had to be searched. And this was during probably like weeks before the Iraq war started. So you understand like how heightened that security is. Mm-hmm. And so because there was only 8 females, well, they had the males doing security, right? They had the infantry doing security, but they weren't allowed to search the females. So they require females to come and search other females. And there was only 8 of us. And so, we spent months there doing that type of activity. And with the Iraq war, beginning and starting, that was something that's really important, because it's, what kind of risk is there if you're not allowed to search all those females that are coming aboard that camp? You just open yourself up to a bigger risk. So that's where I think about this. And when I hear people put other women down, I'm like, but you don't understand the important role that women play, even if you feel like it's something that's minor. It's bigger in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, thank you. Very well put. Very well said, Jessica. I definitely agree. And in that same vein, I'm just going to throw one out there because Pacifica did, so I'm sorry. Feeling a little froggy tonight.
Go ahead, sis.
So I'm just curious, like with that, it's a similar topic. So what do you think, like, what's your opinion either in that vein or any other veins of what you see. But what do you think is a big issue that's currently impacting our women veterans?
So I think it's really the same issue that's impacting male veterans, which is mental health.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different though. And the reason I say that is because I think that for women, not only do you deal with all those things that men deal with, you also deal with women's health issues, right? So you think about perimenopause, menopause, chronic pains that women deal with, maybe brain fog and all those things. I mean, I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
ma'am.
So I think it's all of those things that women are having to deal with, and it affects you mentally, on top of all the things you had to deal with while you were in service. Another one I would add to that affects you mentally, I would say, is like a body dysmorphia. And I don't know if this is for every branch, but it's definitely for the Marine Corps. I think you have this body dysmorphia where you feel like you have to be a certain size, you have to be a certain weight. And if you're not, then, it's an issue. And, you'd love to say, hey, love your body, love yourself. And, it's one of those things that gets into your head, because in the Marine Corps, you have to be this size, you have to be this weight. I don't care that you ran, a first class PFT.
Right.
You have to stay at the standard.
Or outperform everybody else. Exactly. Yeah. Yes, I can
half the credit. That's fair.
Relate to that.
Yep. And also, like what Jessica was saying, what I always thought was interesting is the VA statistic. What is it? Only 18% of women veterans actually use their VA benefits that are eligible. And so I feel like that's also a very big issue that's happening right now, is that a lot of people, they feel that, well, I didn't deploy, or like there's that deep sense of shame or apathy or frustration with the VA. And there's so many services right now that the VA's, like a lot of veterans, especially women veterans, don't realize that can be covered by the VA if certain steps are taken. Like, for example, like in vitro fertilization, things like that. Like even for males, like reversing vasectomy, things like along those lines. But there's so many women that I've had to literally almost harm my soul to even get like what their benefits, or even just to get seen by the VA, unfortunately. And so I agree with you very much. Mental health, something that is definitely a very large issue in the veteran community, women or male. And so sis, how were you able to create a business doing something that you knew, to start doing things that you love?
So like I mentioned before, starting to bake was just something that I've always loved. It's something that I've always done. I've been baking basically all my life. And, I attributed part of it to my mom. My mom, every Christmas, she makes these cookies called bizcochos, and they are my absolute favorite. Everybody loves them. And I kind of started with her, and then it started with me just being like, you know what, I want to be creative in this sense, and I know that I can do that with food, and I can do that with cookies, and I can do that with brownies, and just different things. And I realized, like, okay, I want to do something there where I can put my passions to good use, but also put my education to good use, because I spent a lot of years going to school, getting my bachelor's and my master's, that I didn't want those to go to waste. So taking the time to like figure out, okay, as I build this business, how can I incorporate all those things that I love doing? Because I do love the aspect of all the things I did in my corporate world. I just can't do it at that grand scale as much anymore. And it's good to be able to, bring it down a level and just kind of focus on the things that, that I want to focus on, things where I can be creative. And so I think just like kind of merging all those together made it really easy for me to just kind of get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do you come up with your recipes? And what's your secret? Is it butter? And what kind of
it is actually, I'm going to tell you, it is butter. So it's brown butter.
Brown butter?
Um,
Tell me about this brown butter. Where do you get this brown butter?
so you make it yourself.
Oh, you have to make it.
So yeah, so brown butter is just basically. Sorry, let me drink of water.
Take a sip. I know we've been just grilling you with questions.
Sorry.
Now, would you hush? I'm trying to learn about the brown butter.
So
This is very important.
so it's butter that you melt down, and you it separates the water from the fat. Sorry, I'm gonna itch now. It separates the butter and the fat, and what it does is it just starts to brown, and so it removes a lot of the fluid from the water from the butter, and then it just gives it more of a nutty taste, which is great and it also kind of softens up the cookies a little bit more. So I know that's one of the things that people have told me is oh, I love your cookies because they're nice and soft and they stay soft for an entire week, where some people, you make cookies and it's it was hard as a rock the next day.
Same day
nice and soft.
Right right after they cool. Are you kidding me?
So they stay nice and soft, and they're kind of a little bit crunchier on the outside, which is fantastic. But as far as how I make some of my recipes, so I have a base recipe that I use, and then I just kind of expand on that base recipe. So depending on whether I'm doing something more like a chocolate chip or more like a sugar, I will change the portions of my sugar or the types of sugar that I use. So I may not use brown sugar in one, and I only use regular sugar in the other ones. I'm just, a lot of it is trial and error. I kind of add some things and remove some things, and I've had a lot of failures. I've had some things that I've had my kids try, or I've tried myself, and I'm like, no, that's disgusting. I wouldn't serve that to anybody. So it's just a lot of trial and error, and just trying to get what you think everybody would enjoy. But like I said, it's really starting with a base recipe. Once you have a really good first base recipe, then you can just kind of expand on that and just add some things in there, remove some things. Like I've just done for Valentine's Day, it's a strawberry shortcake cookie, and so that one was a little bit of a trial and error because I tried different flavorings, tried adding some strawberries, and there's too much moisture in it. So, I was like, okay, this isn't working. Tried an emulsion that worked a little bit better. So, just adding and removing things as I see fit. So, my kids and my husband have eaten a lot of cookies.
They're basically
Awesome.
like amateur cookie contest judges at this point. And I'm reading this comment. It says, only micro bakery I know with an SOP. That's the most military thing I've heard all day.
But it resonates so well in my heart.
It's true. It's true.
I love it. I love it. And so talking about that strawberry shortcake, you've got me wondering how and where can we find you? How do people get in touch with you? What does that look like?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Bunny Bird Bakehouse, or you can just go to my website. So I have a website called, it's Bunny Bird Bakehouse at cottagecms.com. And I do pre-orders. So I have a couple of things open out there where you can place orders. I just need about a 7-day lead time for anything that's custom. But, serving basically everybody. So if you have a corporate team event, you have a wedding, you have Christmas events going on, anything really, baby showers, I'm serving everybody. So I'm also offering delivery for large orders. So
That's helpful.
you just got to go look at the website, and I also have various different cookie flavors on there.
Nice. And so for everybody that's watching, we do have it scrolling on the scrolling ticker as well at the bottom of the page. So if you are interested and maybe forgot the name, it's right there. And thank you. I'm excited. Now my mouth's watering thinking about that cookie.
Yeah, the brown butter. Do you make anything that's key lime? Or
I haven't yet, but that's a good recipe for the summertime. I was thinking about doing a lemon cookie for summer.
Nice.
yeah,
Please
like a
let me know.
lemon cookie
I'll be a
bar.
tester.
Right.
I love
Um,
lemon cookies.
so, you know what time it is?
What
It
time?
is time for knowledge drop. Yeah.
So tonight, this is a new knowledge drop, something we're doing. And so this is our very first time. But I really want to bring something to the table that's kind of already been brought up. And so you can see it is a very important topic across our community of veterans. And that is women's health care within the VA system. And so recently I found this, and this was posted by the Women Veterans Department. It is the official va.gov website, or the VA, it's VA approved. It's run by them. I verified and checked. And so I just want to share, as you've heard tonight, experiences across the VA vary. Right. And so some women, we move through the system smoothly. We know kind of where to go or how to get something taken care of because of different experiences we've had. Others sometimes can face delay, confusions, a lot of times mixed information. And then some of us fall in between. And so what I want to share about tonight is really about education, empowerment, and making sure that every woman veteran knows how to advocate for the care that she's earned. And so one thing I've learned personally, both through supporting other women veterans and my own personal experience, is that the VA works best for you when you know where to start. For women's health, specifically at the Audie Murphy VA, and it may be at other locations as well, but I know it will be specific to the VA and how they have their women's health clinics set up. But it's oftentimes the best thing to start with your primary care provider, your PCP. They are your gateway to referrals, screening, specialty services, and the women's health clinic. So if you're unsure how to begin, or you've really been waiting without progress, I highly recommend reconnect with your PCP. Maybe they kind of dropped the ball, or they have some other veterans or something that's going on that, unintentional consequences that they couldn't move forward. So reach back out to your PCP and ask them. Another essential aspect of that is asking questions early and often. Jessica did a great job of explaining some of the different symptoms that we go through as we get a little older and as our bodies change, and when these services that we're not aware of oftentimes really come into play and why they're important. And so the VA is a very large system. We know this. Different people hold different pieces of information. Nurses, clerks, care coordinators, even other veterans that are walking through the hallway or in the same clinic or hanging out, can really help you understand what's available and also how to access it. Ask someone, hey, can you walk me through this? Or is there another option? Or could you explain that to me differently? I'd like a little bit better clarity. Or who else can I talk to about this referral? What would be the next step? Pushing for that forward movement in advocating for yourself and what you need. And here's something I want every woman veteran to hear. If you feel unheard, that doesn't mean you're out of options. Sometimes it really is about finding the right person, the right office, or the right phrasing. Sometimes it's about understanding the actual process, and sometimes it's about having someone walk alongside you while you navigate it. So if you're listening tonight and you're unsure where to start, you've hit a wall, or you just want to understand your options better, reach out. You're not alone. There are tools, pathways, and people ready to help you move forward. We deserve spaces where knowledge is shared openly, where community is intentional, and where navigating the VA doesn't feel like a battle. Women veterans deserve to feel informed, confident, and supported, as well as our brothers, as we all speak and seek the care that we've earned. And so with that, this is our very first knowledge drop, and we'll keep bringing some of these conversations forward because informed veterans are empowered veterans.
Not laughing at you, Amelia. I was like, Pacific, I'm sorry. But yes, that was very informative. Thank you, sis. And absolutely, you are your own best advocate. I will beat that horse until it's dead. Not really in real life, but you understand the phrasing. But yes, at the end of the day, if you're not telling people, if you're not talking to people, how will you improve yourself? And I mean, a lot of us, we tend to fight things like a wet cat until we can't anymore. But make this year a year that you are proactive. There's only one of you. And so, thank you so much, Amelia, and congratulations, Pacifica.
Woo! Thank you so much. Yeah, USMST, my film on military sexual trauma, earned the honorable mention at the Breaking Through the Lens. They have a contest every year. It's called an action grant, and it's for women filmmakers. And we got the honorable mention this year. So I was really excited to hear about that.
Very excited.
Yeah.
But we also got picked up to the Social Justice International Film Festival and the Impact Documentary Film Festival. So we're picking up some momentum, So
you need film crew, we're happy to support. Just let us know. Okay.
Absolutely. I appreciate it.
It's an amazing documentary. Check it out. Look it up. Look up Pacifica at the Edit Lab, Houston. She does amazing work as well.
Oh yes, USMST was very powerful. When it was played at the PTSD and MST symposium, I mean, meeting some of the people that were actually interviewed by you, it was very powerful, and they had such amazing testimony, as well as like just all of what you had explained in the documentary, and everything behind the scenes. It's not easy making a movie. Like I think a lot of people, they don't realize just how much editing and producing, and there's just so much behind the scenes that we don't realize necessarily.
Well, this one was particularly heavy for me since I suffer with this. But we have to remember that our brothers also deal with this problem. Absolutely. And I think part of I do agree with what you said earlier about our problems being the same as our brothers. But a lot of us women had to give up our entire identity to play the military game. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of our problems are multiplied by 100 because we had to give up so much of our own identity to assume the identity that was kind of put on us. Yeah. And so when you come back into yourself and figure out who that is again, it can be kind of unnerving. Yeah. And when our males knew who that was all the time, we're figuring that out when we get out. So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely hard to find your sense of self after the military, because you're right. That's all you know is your military self, and it feels like your truest self. Maybe it's just me, but I'm not speaking for anybody, but I was raised in the military as a dependent daughter. And then I went in the military. So getting the civilian world, like the real civilian world, like I didn't know anything. Like I was like a Martian, like I had no clue. And it just gave me so much anxiety, and it took years of hiding from people to even feel comfortable enough to show my scars or tell my story at all, because I was like literally afraid, like, at the end part of The Substance where like they're all like, like doing crazy stuff when she goes on stage, like in her Monstro Elisa form. Like I was worried that wasn't happening to me, like pitchforks, torches, all of it. And that sounds dumb now explaining it, but I mean, the fear is real. And, finding that sense of self in, what makes you what drives you after the military is like an entirely different journey. And I'm so excited for you, Pacifica, and please keep us updated on everything that's going on with the film.
Yep, you bet. Awesome.
And before we do close up tonight, I did want to do a plug for the amazing book by our personal Shiro, Miss May Cryer, who is turning 100 on March 21st, National Rosie the Riveter Day. So their book is called We Can Do It. It's available on Amazon. And in other bookstores now, it's actually expanding. But the proceeds for this book directly go back to helping veterans and Gold Star families with Black Dagger Military Hunt Club, as well as the Women's World War II Foundation, which was just given congressional approval to build a memorial inside the National Mall. We're just waiting on Senate approval. So congratulations again, Raya, for all you're doing. I don't know how she's like, what, 21, 22, and she's doing big things. Like I'd be stressed, like having to raise like 1 million, much less 14.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she really is. And so, if you are wanting to order this book, you would just go on Amazon, just type in "We Can Do It" or "May Crier," who is the Rosie, who it is her story, and you might see some familiar faces in there. I'm just saying. But at the end of the day, it's for an amazing cause, and for me, it's almost a collection piece where you keep it even though you're grown, because it's something that that purchase went directly into building something that you can take your kids and your grandkids to in the future. And I believe in supporting each other, and so my hope is that we can sell more books before her 100th birthday. I still can't believe she could still lap me easily, and she is 100, like the most active 100-year-old I've ever met in my entire life.
Yes, she is.
She literally was like the whole mayor of Uvalde for like a whole day, and she like walked most of the city 3 times. It was She drove in 97. She's just a legend.
But that's though, being able to support those that came before us that made it possible for us to do what we've done to become what we are today. And so it's that whole, I love it. And so just real quick, I just wanted to throw this out there. Jessica, thank you so much for sharing your story and how you got to hear, especially about Bunny Bird Bakehouse, because first and foremost, I can testify to this. The cookies are delicious.
Thank you so much.
Bit of it. They are amazing. And yes, there was fights breaking out over the cookies. Okay, so
I said what I said.
Thank you guys so much for inviting me on here. I truly appreciate everything. I love the work that you guys are doing and the supporting female veterans. And I think it's amazing. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, sis. And so are you.
Yeah.
Always doing you.
Amelia's doing big things. Pacific is definitely doing big things. I just gotta catch up. I don't know. I'm just like in the back 9. Like
lie to you, she is too. She's just secretive.
It's like I'll tell you when I get there.
That's what I have to say.
So we'll go ahead and close this up, and we'll just go around and we'll do final thoughts. So. Jessica, did you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share, like a last message or something you'd like to say before we did wrap up tonight?
Sure. I mean, let me think. So, I mean, the only thing I would say is something that's been my motto for a while, and something I tell my kids all the time is that you can do hard things. You can do hard things when you're sick. You can do hard things when you're hurt. You can do hard things. Like just don't let anything prevent you from doing the things that you want to do, because there's going to be a lot of obstacles. Just go out there and do it because you can do it.
Absolutely. Thanks.
That's what
Words to live by. And what about you, Miss Amelia?
Oh, no, that was the mic drop. I can't go after that.
All right. What about you, Pacifica?
Rock on. I mean, I wanted to thank you personally for sending me your recipes. And giving me the brown butter. The brown butter.
She was writing that down, right? Like
I do. I have my notes right here, so
they're just gonna make your cookies a lot
Step 1 of evil plan, brown butter.
No, and she didn't sell me her recipes yet.
Yes. See how that strawberry shortcake one turns out.
I don't know about strawberry shortcake. You come up with some key lime though, and I'm all about it.
All right, that's gonna go on my summer menu. Key lime.
All right, there we go. I can't wait. Yay.
I love it. You guys are hilarious.
Brandy, what about?
No, I'm gonna ask now the thought's there, and now I'm gonna ask her. You should ask her.
We don't want to be eating anything from the 30s and 40s. That's all from the Depression era.
I mean, there was a lot of like radium and stuff, but I didn't make the bowls. Like I don't know. Like I'll ask about it. But like every time I ask,
glass jewelry. What else?
Yeah, like I just like maybe like I've never asked her about baking because she would say that as soon as World War II ended, they handed Rosie a pink slip and they literally told them to go back to the kitchen. So it was something that like the word kitchen. I don't know I don't think it's triggering. However, and I've never asked her, but that's a very good question. I think I'm gonna ask her. I'll be seeing her soon when we do record for her next podcast. So I will definitely ask her. So thanks for such a great question.
Maybe she knows some good alcoholic drink mixes.
I mean, that's also a good question. She's gonna give me a smart aleck answer. I already know it. It's gonna be awesome.
I already know.
Story. You never know what she'll tell me. But no, we can most certainly ask. And we'll see. Yeah. I'm curious. Now I'm curious. I don't know. I've never asked her that kind of thing. So I know to self. And what about you, Miss Amelia? Did you have any final thoughts for the night?
No, I just thank you so much for coming on, Jessica. It was definitely a pleasure to be able to support your business, both in, tasting your cookies and then being able to share what you do with everyone here in this area, as well as anyone who's going to order your cookies on the Bunny Bird Bakehouse .cottage.
CMS.com.
CMS.
I was so close. And there you go. Right there. Make sure you reach out to Jessica and grab some of her delicious stuff, especially as we're coming up on Valentine's Day, St. Patty's Day, all these amazing holidays. And as Jessica said earlier, as Rosie said, we can do it.
Yeah. Or we need to power up at the end of this. Nice.
Right.
So I guess my final thoughts would be something similar to what May likes to say at the end of her podcast. Be kind to one another. I'm also going to say, please don't pick up flashbangs with your hands. I said what I said. I'm not trying to out anybody, but I'm concerned. Like murder apple, it's getting crazy there. No, just don't. Just be safe. Take care of each other. And kindness matters now more than ever. And be your own best advocate. That's what I'm gonna go out with, I think. But we will go ahead and close it up tonight. If anyone does have any questions, if you have concerns, if you want to have a certain kind of podcast, if you want to learn about something, I know people have asked me to speak about ketamine infusion therapy. So definitely interesting. But I definitely, please message us on Instagram or on Facebook pages. We'll be happy to answer you. And we are absolutely here for our veterans. So it's not just women veterans. I promise we do have things more focused on women veterans. However, at the end of the day, we're happy to help our brothers as well as our sisters. And no, to answer everyone's question, we do not only allow chicks on the show. We've had many, many males. I'm on the show. Promise you, I'm not that. I don't bite most of the time. So at the end of the day, please.
Amelia bites.
But
like she bites all the time.
Definitely bites. That's fair. No, she's like, I regret nothing. But all right, we'll go ahead and close it up tonight. We are Yes, I Am the Veteran, and have a good night.
Hi, I'm Aurelia. Just a reminder, smash like, hit subscribe, and click the bell. Please give me my mommy some hearts. Yay, veterans!